Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for being here. This is Car Chronicles. For all of you that are joining for the very first time, we are here for another video. Yes, so thank you guys for being here. Please hit the like button, each and every one of you. I appreciate you all joining me. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Thank you guys for being here. Give me 1 second. Good morning. I see y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Whew. Hopefully you guys got your coffee and your tea and you are getting or you got where you need to be this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get into the show, honey, because we have a show for you this morning. Getting all my stuff done here. Yes, honey, celebrity news is always first, but let's do our disclaimer. Everything said in the video is alleged and in my opinion and is used for fair use and entertainment, okay? Yes, yes, and yes. Hopefully you guys had a chance to check out our steamy pop-in yesterday, guys. We had a lot of tea that was spilled yesterday. If you missed it, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you so much, Ella Rogers. She says, always a great show, Karen. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining, okay? Yeah, hopefully you guys checked that out yesterday. If you missed the pop-in yesterday, check that out, baby, because it was a lot of tea up in there. I'm talking about I dumped, baby. I burned everybody's tongue with that tea last night. So if you missed that, I don't know what to tell you. But go and check that out. Hit the like button on that, as well as this video this morning, okay? Say somebody not feeling well, Linda Gamble, you're not feeling good. Hopefully you're feeling better, ma'am, okay? And as for anyone else in the chat this morning, all right? All right, so let's get into our show. All right, celebrity news is first. Let's start there. Okay, so our celebrity news. So the jury selection, you guys, is set to begin in trial for the men charged for the unaliving of Jam Master Jay. Okay, y'all remember him when he was unalived. It's been some years now. It's been some years. So they're saying that a jury selection for the trial of the two men accused of unaliving Jam Master Jay will be underway on this coming Monday. So they're going to start putting together a jury selection for his trial. So I'm glad that they're starting that so that the family can finally get justice for that. Okay. Yes, Jam Master Jay. I remember him, honey. Yes, honey. Pull your Adidas stripes out for him, honey, because y'all know that's what they wore in the group. Yes, honey. So rest in peace to him. It's been a little while, but yeah. All right, so moving on. They're saying it. I hope I'm saying this word right. Cicadas. What is it? Cicadas. Yes, cicadas. And I got my glasses on. Okay, cicadas to emerge in rare double blood phenomenon in late April across the U.S., y'all. It's some more stuff coming, y'all. It's like we get rid of COVID and then there's some more stuff coming, okay? They're saying that cicadas, I hope I'm saying it right, cicadas to emerge in a rare double brood phenomenon in late April across the U.S. Now, they're saying in 2024 that a rare event will occur as both 13-year and 17-year cicadas will emerge simultaneously, a phenomenon not seen since 1803. This is the end of the world. Thank you so much, Linda KB, okay? She says, I do awesome work. I appreciate you, okay? Now, they're saying that billions of cicadas are set to emerge in the Midwest and Southeast in late April. Now, the 2024 door emergency of the 13-year and 17-year cicadas is a rare event occurring once every 221 years, you guys, with adjacent groups brood overlapping narrowly in central Illinois. Now they're saying that according to reports that the broods, the cicada broods won't synchronize rather their emergencies again for another 221 years after 2024. Okay. Now they're saying that after 13 or 17 years underground, that they surface for a noisy month-long mating ritual in spring when the soil temperatures hit around 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Now they're saying that when these insects, because that's what they are, when these insects emerge, that their large numbers contribute to a noisy mating frenzy, emitting a high-pitched buzz or mating song. They says that the song can reach up to 100 decibels, similar to the noise of a jackhammer or a motorcycle. Wow. So this is kind of like, let me show you guys what it looks like. Okay. Okay. That's what it looks like. Can you guys see that? So these things will be flying around. They're expecting these things to be flying around. They're saying late April. Okay. Go and read your Bibles, guys. I always like to take you back to stuff like that. You remember it says in Revelations, wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, divers places, like swarm. I think it says something about swarms or something like that. Go read your Bible. I want to say that it says something about stuff like this. It's weird. It's weird when you hear stuff like that. We just had a really bad earthquake. Yeah, kind of like locusts. Yeah, y'all, you get it. We just had that bad earthquake, you guys know, in Japan. That was I want to say like a 7 point something. Yeah, Linda KB. Yes, end of days, honey. We're getting it. They're saying that this has not happened. They haven't seen these types of things around since 221 years. That says a lot. They have not seen these things since 200. So the next 221 years is when they expect to see them again. But these things are expected to be out. They're saying in April. Okay, so get your prayer life right, child. Because when you see stuff like this, like my grandma used to say, know that the time ain't long. My grandma always say that. Know that the time ain't long. When you start seeing weird things that don't usually occur on an everyday basis or a usual basis, then that's kind of where we kind of pressing towards the end of this thing. And I know since we were like kids, you used to hear your grandmama say, okay, it's almost the end of the world. It's getting to the end. It's getting to the end. You better listen, get your prayer life right, get some stuff in your life right, because we're starting to see things that we really have not seen before. And it's kind of scary a little bit. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary stuff like COVID and the measles and all these outbreaks and stuff, guys. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Look at the times. Look at the times, honey. It's weird. It's so crazy. So get your prayer life right out here, child. All right, so this lady named Tia Kemp, guys, says that Dwyane Wade failed the 305 culture, and he says that she also goes on to say that Gabrielle Union, honey, is a 304 for letting Zaya Wade do whatever she wants. Y'all know that is their son. Said that you're the cause of it, and you should have gave that child back to his mama. I kind of agree with her a little bit. She is snapping off. Yeah, let's play what she got to say. All right.
I wouldn't want to represent a Miami Heat after Wade failed us. That nigga failed us as an athlete in Miami. But you know he ain't born here anyway, so we don't give a fuck about him. We care about Udonis, the nigga from over town. Wade, you are a failure to the 305 culture. You let that child grow up. Gabby, you's a hoe too. You ain't shit. You did everything that child wanted to do. You the cause of. You should have gave that child back to his mama. Shady, allegedly. Why y'all didn't get that lady that Savannah back her churn? I ain't like that. Wade, you had done got too successful to be running around trying to raise boys and dribble balls. But one, you done get raised that older one to run dribble balls, but you don't promote him all over the motherfucking media like he did Zaza. We gonna smoke on Zaza Pat right now. Yeah, get off the Zaza.
She wild for that. It's kind of true. I do wish that he would have gave them children back to their mama. I mean, she been asking for them kids for the longest. But when people don't want to pay child support, that's the result. The new age thing now is to take the children from the mother so that you ain't got to pay them. That's the new age thing. These athletes, just like what's this fool name? Royce Reed, that Dwight Howard. He don't want that daughter. I guarantee you he ain't watching that child. He just took custody of his 15-year-old daughter from the mama, talking about she doing all this stuff online. What nigga, didn't we just find out that you were having these wild parties where all these people was in your house, like 20, 40 people in your house, getting high, throwing up over balconies with your son over there? Your son is you know, you're the reason why he was doing all this crazy sexual inappropriate shit that he saw while he was in your care, at which his own mother got locked up behind that. So why y'all out here snatching up custody of your kids, knowing that you ain't gonna watch them? You guys are going to basketball camp, y'all at basketball practice, y'all in every other city. You're not watching them kids. Usher, you did it to your kid's mama because you didn't want to pay her. Right after this woman lost her son. Right after this woman lost her son, y'all go and take custody. I don't like stuff like that, just to avoid paying. Martell, you tried that bullshit with Melody. I'm just take the kids. You can't even take care of yourself. You still walking around here with your underoos on that Mama Holt had your ass wearing when you was in second grade. Everywhere you go, your ass got a wedgie. But you want to take full custody of 4 children that you can't even feed, where the children's mama got to bring food up over there? Boy, if you don't sit your ass down. This nigga still wearing underoos. He's still wearing them underoos that was in the top drawer that his mama used to tell him to put on after he got out the tub. Then walk around here with your drawers up your ass. I'm on full custody. Boy, sit your ass down. You ain't got enough money to boil a hot dog in that bitch, but you on full custody. Sit your ass down. Am I telling a lie or am I telling the truth? I'm leaning towards the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Ninjas, boy. Y'all, damn. Krishan Rock catches the Holy Ghost. All right. I might have to turn it down a little bit. Krishan Rock, honey, is singing a gospel song. I don't know, honey, if she been praying that Blueface get out of jail, child. I don't know. Somebody recorded her while she was singing a whole gospel song, honey. She done straight called the Holy Ghost on the video. YouTube don't get me because I hope they ain't got no music. Let me see. All right. She's singing. I got to turn down because of music. Look at her. Praise him, honey. She's singing a gospel song. She's starting to feel it, honey. Come on, girl. Yes, honey. It's the end of the world, Lord. Okay, the Lord is coming back. When you see Krishan Rock, honey, not fighting and cussing somebody out, and she's singing a gospel song and feeling the spirit, honey, to know that the time is not long. All right, we done talked about these locusts. Now we're talking about Krishan, baby. The end of the world is coming. All right. So yeah, she's at some little bar or something like that, and they were playing. Somebody was playing a gospel song. I think they had like a karaoke night or something like that. But she was singing the song and she kind of got real emotional. Okay. And then she started praising the Lord at the bar. Ain't nothing wrong with that, child. Praise the Lord anywhere, child. Praise the Lord anywhere. It don't matter, child. But what y'all think about that? Someone said she's a hot mess. Yes, honey. She is saying she's gonna wait for Blueface too, honey. She said, I saw a post that she just recently put. She says that my baby daddy in jail and I'm doing time with him. I said, no, bitch, you free. You and the baby is free. I don't know what they told you, but you and the baby is free out here. Don't be saying you and the baby locked up because he locked up. Because when his ass was free, he was trying to have you locked up. So don't be out here trying to be having yourself bound up because he locked up. No, let him do his time in peace. You free, go on out here, make your money, do what you got to do, raise your child, honey. And don't be in Walmart having him doing no more back bends no more time soon. Because, baby, I want to reach through the internet and pull your baby up. I want to pull him up. All right, because he was doing too much of this shit him. I was like, Lord, if you don't lift that baby up, lift your baby up, Lord. But child, let's move on. So shout out to Krishan, honey, feeling the Holy Ghost at the bar, Lord. All right, moving on. All right, so this woman claims that Stevie J, y'all know who Stevie J is. He used to be married to Faith Evans. Let's show a picture just in case you forgot. Yes, that's him. He ain't shit father. Anybody that is $1 million behind in child support, you ain't shit as a father. I just got to say that. How you get $1 million behind in child support? Stevie J almost went to jail behind child support, not paying it. So now he is getting alimony from Faith Evans after Faith Evans divorced him. So now he done asked the courts for alimony, and he's getting alimony from her. I think it's like $30,000 a month. Yeah. So just to sit on Faith Evans, y'all, who knew? I said, girl, why you married him anyway? Both of y'all was like out there on the puff pass and then went to Vegas and then damn got married on the spare of the moment. And now look at your life. Stuck to this ninja. You ain't got no kids with him. Like you could have been just Faith Evans out here doing your thing. You had to go and marry this sorry ass ninja who you never should have been married to from the damn start. He used to be a whole friend to your ex-husband. He used to produce your ex-husband. Stevie J has been in Faith Evans' life for quite some time. So you can't tell me you didn't know that he was a trash ass ninja out here. You can't say that you didn't know that. And you turn around and marry him, and now you're surprised that he done sued your ass for damn alimony. Now, another woman have come forward to say that Stevie J allegedly got her pregnant and then ghosted her, okay? She says that you are a very trash-ass human, but you kind of trash for messing with him because there's no way in hell you, ma'am, didn't know the type of trash-ass ninja he was prior to messing with him. I mean, how many episodes of Love and Hip Hop have you seen him on where he was playing around and messing with Jocelyn and messing with Mimi all at the same damn time? He don't respect women, so why did you think he was going to respect you? Why do women feel like that they WAP is so much better than somebody else and they're going to be more respected than the next woman? If he disrespected you over here, he going to disrespect you over here. Like, you ain't special. Stop thinking that your WAP is better than somebody else's. Now, she puts him on blast and she says that, by the way, y'all, hitman Stevie J says, was the creep who got me pregnant on purpose. Like, literally made sure I got pregnant just to ghost me. No, you made sure yourself got pregnant, because there's so many things out there now that you can use in order to prevent yourself from being pregnant. Okay, you should have made him wear a condom. Okay, or maybe not sleep with him. That would have prevented all of that, because you know he done been through a legion of hoes out here, and I gotta say it that way. He has. All right. She says, as Stevie just, so she just on here just pouring her heart out on social media. This is stuff you need to be telling him directly. Okay. If you ain't got his number, then that says a whole lot about you too. If you can't call him up and speak to him or sit down face to face and talk to him, well, maybe he was just a little side chick out here. So she is saying, as Stevie J says, that you don't deserve a baby from me, that you are very trash. You are a very trash ass human, that you live off other people's misery. Nothing good will ever come your way. 100. She says, I don't know. She says, I go for older men thinking that they are real men because they are older. She says, but bruh, the BS, they just don't never end. These MFers never grow up, and neither do you, because what does that make you for messing with him? Do your homework on these men, okay? So now they are arguing back and forth. She says the peace queen is Stevie J. She's showing text messages with her conversation with him. He says, hello, okay, lick you in. Then he says, okay, I mean lock you in. He was trying to be funny. So then she says, me and Stevie met on Friday night back in 2023. Okay. So then she responds to him and says, please do. He was saying, I'm going to lick you in. And then he put, I'm going to lock you in. So she responds by saying, please do. So she's showing the exchange of conversations between them. Typical thought behavior. So then she's saying, I'll do the same. So then he said to her, good morning. I didn't get home till 4 a.m. and was super sleepy. So then she responds to him, good morning. I went out as well. Didn't get in until 5 a.m. Typical thought behavior. So then she says that we go way back. This didn't happen overnight, that we've been messing around since then. Well, he just got divorced from Faith. So that means you were messing with him while he was married to Faith. Typical thought behavior. So then she goes on to say that he showed me that he changed and wanted better for himself. Yeah, no. She goes on to say that he treated me like a princess. Trust me, I'm not slow. Very slow. No, you on pause. You're not slow. You on pause, girl. Then she goes on to say, so it's awkward and weird that he ghosted me right after I said I was pregnant 3 weeks ago. Because this man made it his business to get me pregnant, babe. She says that it wasn't no pulling out at all. Do we need to know that? Because that's usually what happens when you get pregnant. Obviously, he did not pull out, okay? So she goes on to say, so that's why it hurt me so bad and made me sick to my stomach. No, girl, it is the morning sickness. But that is what she had to say. So she is putting him on blast for getting her pregnant, okay? It's your fault. It's your fault. You knew he was a trash ass nigga. You saw how he treated Jocelyn. You saw how he treated Mimi and every other woman that came in his life. He don't pay no child support, and he treats women like trash. So why you thought he was gonna treat you differently and putting all these messages and conversations between the two of you on social media to try to blast him? Seriously, sis. Excuse me, guys. My nasal spray. Seriously, sis. Like, you look stupid. Moving on. I ain't even gonna elaborate on that no more. Women, stop fooling with these sorry ass men, and goodbye. All right, moving on. We don't care. We don't care. Okay. All right. So Cardi B, honey, accused Tasha K, of course, of having hidden offshore accounts. We kind of touched on this a bit. Let's go ahead and get into what they're saying, because Cardi B is not letting up off Tasha K, and I'm so happy. I have never wanted to see someone pay for their stupid behavior more than damn Tasha K. And more so now that you interviewing sorry ass Martell Holt. I kind of really want to see some justice now for Cardi, because that shit just kind of pissed me off a little bit. But Cardi B, they're saying that Cardi B accuses Tasha K of having hidden offshore accounts. It says that Cardi B's legal battle with Tasha K continues as her attorney requests that a woman named Patricia Haynes to comply with a subpoena. Okay. Now they're saying that according to Cardi's attorney, that Haynes, Patricia Haynes to be exact, holds key information on offshore accounts tied to Tasha K, which she didn't reveal during her Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. Okay. That's fraud. That's fraud, and withholding information on your bankruptcy, that is a crime. Okay. Now they're saying that an alleged failure by Tasha K to disclose assets could potentially violate her case. It says that this statute outlines penalties for those who knowingly and fraudulently conceal from a custodian, why can't I say the word custodian, trustee, marshal, or other officer of the court charged with the control or custody or of property, or in connection with a case under Title 11 from creditors or the United States trustee, any property belonging to the state of a debtor. Okay. Yes. So Tasha K, baby, you are in a lot of trouble because you allegedly lied on your bankruptcy information to avoid paying Cardi. Cardi got smart and had her attorneys further research Tasha K as well as her husband, and they found several businesses and accounts where they were hiding money. Okay. From my understanding, because I was reading up on this, she has some offshore accounts. We already know that she has money, and I'm gonna tell you business. Bank of Africa, they were saying that she transferred like $30,000 into an account as well. Yeah, I'm telling your business. And she was telling the courts that she didn't have any money. Now, her Wells Fargo account, at which she had thousands and thousands of dollars in there, she withdrew the money from that, only leaving $1,000. So whenever Cardi and her team went to go and get the money out of that account, they realized that it was only $1,000 in there when previously it was over, I wanted to say like maybe $50,000 or so or more in that account. So Tasha's been removing money from several of her accounts, and they're saying putting in offshore accounts to hide the money to avoid paying the $4.4 million settlement that she owes to Cardi B. And Cardi's not letting up. She has her legal team stepping up to help her retrieve her funds. Okay. Tasha K makes $60,000 a month in YouTube. She has over 1 million subscribers. She makes very good money in addition to other businesses that she and her husband has. She has a lot of trust accounts. We're going to talk about it. She has trust accounts where she's hiding money, and she told the courts when she went to court to file for bankruptcy, when they asked her, do you have any trust accounts? They asked her husband as well. They both said no. They said, do you have any trust accounts in your children's name? They said no. So now they found out that there were several trust accounts where there is money in that. So they are investigating her. She is looking at going to jail. Who's happy? Because you do too much shit, and that's your karma. Okay. You do too much. You do too much. Now, there's a difference between being a whole, content creator and doing what you got to do, doing your interviews or whatever. But when you're intentionally doing things, Tasha, just for clicks and views, like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it no more. And I used to be a fan of you, but I can't say so no more, honey. And I ain't about to fly off on you this morning, run my pressure up, because I did it yesterday. So bottom line is your ass is going to jail for committing bankruptcy fraud, because that's what it is. They in bankruptcy, they're going to pull all your shit. They want to know all your business in bankruptcy. They can tell you what time, the last time you passed gas in that bitch. They can tell you because they investigate everything. Everything you put on that paper, they're going to look at it. Just like when you file for them damn PPP loans. I keep telling you. And for anybody, and I said it yesterday, if anybody filed for them PPP loans and you put some fake shit on there, or you ain't got all your business together, they coming after you. Just because they ain't knocked on that door yet. Oh, yeah, baby. So, yeah. Beware. Okay, beware or be square. All right, so we talked about it yesterday. We already announced, but I'm going to announce it again for those of you who don't know. Just in case your spaceship just landed this morning, Dexter King, which is the son of Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, their youngest son, has passed away at age 62 following a prostate cancer battle. Okay, he has passed away. So rest in peace to Dexter King. All right, looking just like your daddy out here. Looking just like your daddy out here. Yes, he does. Okay, Dexter King was 62 years old. He has passed away from prostate cancer. Okay, they say he passed away peacefully in his home in California with his wife and his family. Okay, I think it's something they were expecting to happen soon. I think he transitioned right on. They said he transitioned peacefully. Okay, so shout out to him on that. All right. Let's make sure we get all these. All right. Oh, yeah, that's another topic that I want to get up to. All right, yeah. So let's get on to this topic. 225 North Carolina teachers must pay back more than $280,000 to the school district, you guys, after accidentally receiving bonuses. Imagine that. Imagine your job giving you a bonus and coming back and saying, sorry, we made a mistake. You got to pay that bonus back. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to be pissed off. Put a 2 in the chat if you will understand and just get the money back. I want to see it. I want to see. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to be pissed off and snapping off by having to give your bonus back. Put a 2 in the chat if you're going to be understanding and just be like, okay, I'll just pay the shit back. A bonus, okay? But your job give you a bonus, and then they come back and say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but the bonus that we gave you, we need you to run us our money back." Somebody put a bunch of 1s. I know that shit right. Don't give me no damn bonus and be like, "Sorry, we made a mistake. I need that back up off you." Hell to the no, okay? Don't make your problem my problem, all right? Because a bitch done went shopping. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. They crazy as hell for this one. 225 North Carolina teachers, like I said, must pay back more than $280,000 to the school district after accidentally receiving bonuses. Now, they're saying that a North Carolina school district is asking why they do that twice? The Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system, district apologized to their teachers for the January 12th bonuses that they say were a payroll error. That's your error. Okay. This says that the district noticed that the error 5 days later on January 17th and notified the teachers on January 18th, according to a release statement. Now they're saying that the 225 teachers will have the option of repaying the bonus in a lump sum from their February check, or they may choose a payment plan with deductions over 3 months. Okay. Hell no. It says that the district said that the bonuses were only for new teachers as an incentive to recruit them to work at Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, okay? Now, they're saying that we understand the challenges that this error may have caused. And this is what they're saying. This is their statement. We understand the challenges that this error may have caused, and we are committed to working closely with each of the teachers impacted. That's not an impact. That's a pay up. So they're saying that we value the work of all Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools employees and sincerely apologize for any distress or inconvenience. That's a huge inconvenience, okay? That is a huge inconvenience. Don't give me no damn bonus and be like, yeah, I'm gonna need that back up off. Yeah. So now I got to be on a payment plan to pay y'all asses back for y'all error. I'm about to find me another job and F y'all in this damn bonus, because teachers don't really get paid that much any damn way. Let these people keep that money. Teachers go through hell trying to teach these badass kids who don't have no damn home training. The parents ain't doing shit with them at home. Then they get to school and they got to deal with all the mess with the kids yelling back at them, the kids fighting the teachers. Like, it's a lot. Get these people, they need a bonus. Anybody that's a school teacher, I'm gonna say it right here. You deserve a bonus. Let them people keep that money. But all the shit they have to deal with these badass kids. That would make me mad. That would make me mad. Okay. Yes, it would. All right. So let's get into Dustin Ross, who sits down with Carlos King and kind of touches on Love Marriage Huntsville. All right. I want to play that.
What's going through your mind as you were watching the continuation of those two?
You know, Carlos, I actually had an epiphany this week as I was listening to some of the things that Miss Betty was saying. It became evident and clear to me that, because Miss Betty mentioned that she had been in like chat rooms and forums, fan forums regarding the show since season 1. And Miss Betty is so dangerous, right? Because in some cases, like with Monica on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, people that have been a part of the fandom, right, can in some cases add value to or integrate into the show effectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Betty did not do that. What Miss Betty did was something similar to what Sweet Tea and Dr. Alicia have done on Married to Medicine. I'm not going to get too far off track, but I saw a live where the live that got that's right, Carlos. We're talking about it today because this is a point here, right? When I saw the live where Sweet Tea and Dr. Heavenly were engaging in that back and forth, and Alicia and Sweet Tea were smiling and giddy while they were in the throes of what was supposed to be perceived as an argument, right? Mm-hmm. They were jokingly holding each other back and you ain't gonna get me, girl, and laughing and shit when it was a serious argument because they were excited to be standing up to somebody that they saw on TV who they felt like if that was me, I would have said this. And they were in the moment and not even realizing that their countenance and their posturing was completely betraying their sincerity, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we saw that with Miss Betty. She's been a fan of the show, been in forums and chat rooms, arguing, forming opinions about people on the cast, and she carried that into her experience. It was completely out of place for me in her dialogue for her to say, you've been arguing with a man you've been divorced from for 3 years. That had nothing to do with what they were talking about. That was a feeling that she had already held for Melody and for her story. She's a fan of the show, and she bought that comment section fodder, which we love because it's the engine that keeps the show moving. Yes. But it doesn't belong on the show. And right. That's the difference. So there needs to be a clear boundary there, and that might look like her being on the other side of the boundary and not a part of this anymore outside of her family scenes. I think it's getting to a point now where it is a one-way street to Toxicity City.
Watch the full
boom.
Make sure you
thank you, Dustin. What y'all think about what Dustin had to say? Shout out to Carlos King. Shout out to Carlos King. I got to shout him out for that because that was his platform. What do you guys think about what Dustin had to say? I totally agree. Dustin was totally correct. Betty should not have been on the show. I don't see, and I said it when I did my review for the reunion part 3. I do not see in part 2. I think she was part 2 carrying on into part 3. I don't feel that she should have been at the reunion, and neither should Junior. Sorry, she is a fan of the show. She came on to the show, like he said, bringing on all that nasty, that negative energy from when she was in these Facebook chats, and she was happy to be on there. You could tell that she was so happy to be on there and to get to confront Melody so that she can go back and report back to her minions on that Facebook chat. They're like, hey, y'all, I finally got on there and I let her ass know exactly what we've been talking about over here. Did y'all see how I went off on her? She was happy to do that shit. Oh, she was happy to do that. She was happy to do that. And I just want to say to Dustin, thank you for putting Carlos King in his place. And y'all saw Carlos' face. He didn't like that shit because he likes the messy part of it all. Carlos, he low-key enjoys seeing people going back and forth and arguing because he feels like that helps his ratings. Just like when Melody told him when we played the podcast, when Melody was on his podcast last night, when Melody says, I ain't even going to lie to you, Carlos. Melody says, I feel like that you just did not protect me. I feel like that you weren't there for me. And for a long time, I didn't even want to talk to you. At one point, Melody was sick of his ass because she's like, look, when do you see me? And what she was meaning by that is, when do you see that enough is enough and stop using me as a punching bag for your ratings? So his comeback from that is, I didn't know it was happening. Carlos, really? You absolutely know what's happening because there's no fucking way that you can review. And I said it last night. There's no way you can review any of your shows and not know what's going on. How do you know what questions to ask? How do you know what this person did to this person at the reunion if you didn't know, if you're oblivious to everything that's going on the show? We're not buying the fact that you don't know that Martell Holt has been doing this. We're not going to buy the fact that you didn't know that Betty was wrong for doing what she was doing, because why were you trying to pipe her down if you didn't feel that she'd gone too far? But you enjoy that whole back and forth. You enjoy them coming after her like that. And then he sits there and he looks at the reaction of the person that's getting beat down because he enjoys that. He does not protect women. It's sad. Carlos, for you to not protect, because you kind of act a little feminine. I'm sorry. You act very feminine. So for you not to protect women, you came from a woman. How would you like it if Martell Holt got up in your mama's face? Rest in peace to her, because his mother has passed away. But I'm just using this as an example. How would you feel if Martell Holt ran up in your mama's face like he does Nell on this damn show and screaming and hollering in her face and fucking disrespecting her? Would it be funny then? Would it be great TV then? Would it be acceptable then because it's great TV? Or would you get in between and say, hey, don't yell at mama, this is my mama? No. So why is it okay for him to jump in other people's mama's face? Because Nell is somebody's mama. Melody is somebody's mama. Hell, Melody is his ex-wife. So why is it okay for certain people to get a pass and to get to do things? And in order for you to not take accountability for certain things, you use the whole example or the whole excuse of, oh, I didn't know that it was happening. I call bullshit. You absolutely know what's happening. You're not going to allow production to put out anything on your show without you first approving it. Under Kingdom Reigns Entertainment, your show, all these shows, Bell Collective, Love and Marriage Huntsville, all these shows are under the Kingdom Reigns /own production company. So you're not going to allow production to just film something and edit it and put all that stuff out without you even knowing what's on the fucking show. So to say I didn't know that happened, I didn't know things were that bad, I didn't know you felt that way, Melody. I didn't know that Betty was harassing you and or doing these things. Like, stop it. Carlos, you knew prior to Betty coming to the reunion because you interviewed her and Stormy on your podcast when she sat on your podcast and said, I don't like Melody. I never liked Melody. She said the same thing in the podcast. I didn't like Melody from the first time I met her when she came to Stormy's house and she was trying to play with my grandson. And I said then, she's being fake. I don't like her. Carlos, he reared back in his chair and was laughing. So you knew prior to Betty coming on the show, prior to her coming to the reunion, that this woman was going to come full speed ahead at Melody when she was already taking the bullshit from Martell. She was just getting yelled at Martell. So then you bring Betty out for part 2 of a yelling session, of a disrespectful session for her coming at Melody. Somebody said Betty would have got cut all the way out. She would have got cussed all the way out. All the way out. I'm sorry. Carlos, you got to do better. And when Melody said last night on the audio that I'm sorry, she said, I'm sorry, but Martell got to go. We heard nothing from him. We heard nothing from Carlos. He didn't say, you know what? Yes, we are going to make him step down. We are going to go ahead and get rid of him. Because you said, Carlos, that you are going to address everything on the 21st at the podcast. You still haven't. Now, you talked about Martell being arrested, but you still didn't come back and give the fans what we were asking. They were asking in the audience. He needed to be let go. You never addressed that, but then you did say, well, I did ask production and them to have, security on set so that everyone can feel safe. That still doesn't stop a person from running up in somebody's face and threatening them and yelling at them and being fucking disrespectful. Carlos enjoys seeing that, and it's got to stop. Bell Collective, they're going through the same thing with Cliff grabbing up on Latrice, putting bruises on her arm, threatening production and the camera crews. Like, enough is a damn enough. Melody said it best when she said it's time for this show to get back to business. That's going to cut out a lot of the bullshit on the show because Martell, you don't have a business. So once they change the direction of the show to going back to business, that's going to weed out a whole lot of the bullshit on the show. Betty, you ain't got no business, so you won't have a reason to even be on the show, okay? Martell, you won't have a reason to be there because all your businesses ain't doing shit, okay? That wine, ain't nobody buying it. That book, the kids ain't trying to go back to Canada or nowhere else with your ass, okay? Period. That's going to weed out a lot of the little sidebar bullshit that we've been seeing on this show, okay? Period. Melody she is a producer as well for this show, executive producer. She's an EP. So bottom line, she does have some say-so on how things work, and Carlos needs to listen and stop trying to use that stupid ass laugh that just really gets on my nerve as a deflection. He kept doing that to deflect from answering questions that's been thrown at him that he needs to address. He needs to address these things, and I'm sick of it. But let's go ahead and get into this interview with Destiny. Then we're going to get on out of here, okay? We're going to get on out of here. I hope you guys are enjoying the show thus far, honey, because we've been trying to get you guys some great topics for the show, okay? Let's get on into it. Ooh, child. Okay, yeah, so here we go. Let's get into this.
How in the world do people get married and they hate, because that's what it has to come, hate somebody to the point that they will get their own son's mother locked up over something like that?
It was really a slap in the face, for me. Like,
let me pause it because I want to mount it. Okay? Because I got something that I'm getting ready to do while you guys are watching. I'm be trying to multitask here, okay? So this is the interview with Destiny. She's going to be talking about her situation with LeBaric. She's going to be talking about the situation with Sonny. Just typical lies, okay? Typical lies with Destiny, child, okay? Yeah. Typical lies with Destiny. So let's get into it, honey. Let me mount it up so you guys can see.
Long. You hadn't even spoke out about your abuse. You haven't even, talked about the real trauma that you got from that marriage. It was a lot of aha moments that I needed just for myself and my growth and accepting things and coming to the realization of where I was and actually being married to someone that now seeks pleasure in your pain.
I aim to make emotional healing a global norm through cultivating candid discussions about love.
My parents got married and divorced to each other 3 times. Or you can look at it as they kept trying. In the end of my father's life, that's what he told me.
I aspire to mend marriages.
I'm intentional about loving her because now I understand that, I was able to be free and loving me, then I can love her.
Reignite hope for singles seeking future relationships.
How can you glory in being single and want a companion at the same time? How can you not? You're only going to be as successful as a wife as you were a single.
And inspire men to lead their homes in accordance with biblical principles.
When I made my vows, I told God that I was going to take care of this gift. This is my gift. And I was obligated to see after him and him alone.
Join me on this journey where these heartfelt and vulnerable conversations form the patchwork for the quilt that will envelop my future wife.
I have accepted their opinions without criticism.
We're going to get to Destiny here in a second, okay, guys?
The theme is that I'm happy, and I want to be happy in the future.
I'm Laterra Whitfield. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterra Whitfield. Listen, this is season 8. Are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, come on, y'all. We got to do better than this. Can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. And you'll notice in the description a link for you to sign up for the mailing list. A lot of y'all have been getting on to me when we've been doing these retreats and these events. And you say, Laterra, can you send an email out to notify us when you're coming to my city? And so I'm going to do better. All right? I've heard your cries. I've heard your complaints. And in 2024, I'm going to rise to the occasion. And we're developing this mailing list so that I can reach out to you and have some great touch points. Well, listen, today's episode, I got a buddy on the podcast, good old friend. And so we're going to chop it up. We're going to have a conversation. I don't even know the title of the episode. We're just going to talk and have fun. You saw this person on last year's episode that we did in March at New Birth. She was a part of the panel. You also saw her on the first season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My homie, Destiny Payton.
All 5 seasons, by the way.
All 5 seasons? 5 seasons? So hold on. So
minus the last one.
Minus the last. So it was that many seasons.
Yeah. Show's been on since 2019.
Okay, so that's what it was. Okay, because I kept hearing people like, well, what happened to you or whatnot? I didn't know that it was 5 seasons and then you just disappeared. And what happened? Why did you disappear?
Well, you know, what had happened was...
What happened was, that's when black folks would tell a story, they always start off with what had happened was. All right, so what had happened was...
The political answer is contractual issues. Yeah, that would be why I didn't return.
So it has something to do with money, pretty much. see, black folks, you know, we keep it lit on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. So basically, they wasn't trying to run you your coins the way you wanted your coins. I understand. All right. And so since then, how have you been doing?
Man, I made a post. Now that we're in 2024, 2023 was "But did you die?" year. I'm still alive.
Still alive. Why'd you say
alive.
that? But did you die? What happened in 2023 where you felt like all hell broke loose?
What didn't happen? Just so much. You know, the divorce that I ended in 2021 has been drug on until 2024.
How does that happen? How does a divorce that's supposed to be over, how does it still continue to drag on?
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, I didn't either. So what do you mean by that?
So the other party can reopen the divorce case at any time. You can pay an extra fee apparently and start to request contempts. Yeah.
You can open up. Okay, so you still...
So typically people reopen a divorce because in the decree you may want to modify some things, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we modify child support.
Yeah.
I don't get that. So that's not even in there. So...
you don't get child support?
I don't.
For real?
Correct.
Ain't letting black men get off like that.
I let black men get off like that.
Oh, so you didn't put them on child support?
No.
Oh, okay. Why? Because you felt like it was even, like y'all split the kid up like 50-50?
No, because my son was only, when our divorce was final, I want to say he might have been 8 months. He wasn't 1 yet. And so for me, it was like, I just wanted to be over. I gave everything down to the silverware, everything that he requested. Pots and pans, silverware, blender, everything.
So what's is it still a legal issue where you can't discuss what's going on, why it's dragging on, or are you at liberty to say that?
I can say, yeah, I'm at liberty to say.
Okay, well, why is it dragging on? Why is it reopened? If there's no child support issue,
no custody visitation.
No custody.
issues.
So what else is there?
I don't know.
What you mean you don't know? You got to see something on the paperwork.
The thing that has always been requested is that it's a punitive type thing. It's always hold her in contempt and put her in jail.
For what though? What would you be held in contempt for?
Let's see. What would we say would be on the list? Talking about said person in interviews.
Oh, so
which is not even in our decree, by the way.
Oh, okay, so there ain't no gag order about that.
No, the only thing that I said that I wouldn't talk about him or his family or anybody on the show Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Okay.
I agree to that.
And then so he feels as though if you're talking about him in interviews, that is the same thing. Is that in the divorce decree?
No, it's
not. Or
just
a verbal agreement y'all have between each other?
We never had that agreement.
You just felt as from a moral standpoint, you just wouldn't mention him on the show.
Correct. Oh, no, that's in the decree.
Okay.
That's in the decree. But interviews, yeah, from a moral standpoint, I didn't want to mention him on the show. And I felt like keeping my silence about what was going on would protect my son. And I realized that keeping my silence only allowed a lot of the things that were going on in my marriage to continue. And me having to sit in narratives and different things that weren't real, weren't actual or factual. And I feel like it hurt me more than it helped the situation because I was in protective mode of the person that I had a son with.
So how did it hurt you?
Because they were still allowed to abuse me in other ways. Judicial system, financial, And I never saw that coming.
So you say financial, was he the major breadwinner in the home?
No, he wasn't. But what I asked for the only thing that I did ask for was 1 year of him paying the mortgage on the home. And I was refinancing the home in my name. And I did, but he refused to give me the mortgage statement. But the story that's put out into the world is that I was squatting in my own home that I owned and I wouldn't get out. And this man has supported me and did so much for me, and I should be able to, move forward. But I didn't think for a whole year that I would be in court. I would be paying legal fees. So
you had agreement to what? You were supposed to move out after a year, or
I was either going to sell the home or refinance the home. And so I did refinance the home, but the mortgage is in his name, not mine. So I had to have, because he had a VA loan, I had to have the mortgage statement in order to finalize the closing.
Right.
And we tried without it, but the underwriter just was like, no, we have to have it. And then
he wouldn't give you the mortgage statement?
No.
So I saw something one morning. So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. I woke up one morning and I see you on live surrendering yourself to the jail system. What is it? The Huntsville Detention Center? What was it called?
Huntsville, HPD?
Yeah. I saw you. I was like, is this real? What is going on? And it was real.
Very real.
And I talked to you after you got out. What was that about?
So I get a call from Martell, and he's like, "Hey man, you all right?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" He was like, I'm pissed off right now. What is going on? And I'm like, he's like, you're on Crime Stoppers. And I said, well, get off my phone. And I hung up on him. And then
you was on Crime Stoppers?
I was on Crime Stoppers. And the only reason why I was on Crime Stoppers was because of who I am.
Yeah.
Because I met someone that was actually retired from the board of Crime Stoppers. The next day is how crazy God works.
Who are you, girl?
And they were like, we would never put something like that on Crime
that's
Stoppers.
so petty.
Child.
4 days after the charge. Like, it wasn't like you were looking for me. Like, you can't find me in Huntsville.
You called on the phone, just like, hey, that's what you doing? Yeah.
But you know what? The thing that was meant to, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it was meant to embarrass me, but it also protected me. Because
let me tell you something was interesting, and I just want to chime in. You handled that such like a G. Like, you wasn't even, I know it may have been meant to embarrass you, but you didn't seem embarrassed by it. Like, what made you go on live? Because you could have not told anybody that. You could have just went in, surrendered. You know, your dad was feeling what he was feeling, all that stuff, and then went and got out and then never mentioned it.
Because it was done publicly. And that was the first time I ever responded to anything that had happened to me in my dealing with my ex-husband publicly, because he made it public. So how else do I respond?
How did you get on Crime Stoppers for something like that?
Somebody made a call. Somebody knew somebody. Had to. Because literally, when I was talking to an investigator, they're like, typically we do that when we're looking for someone.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I was just charged 4 days ago. And how did it, like, that was quick.
That is crazy.
It was absolutely set up to be embarrassing. And the thing that was the biggest gift about being on Crime Stoppers was I could have been seized or pulled over with my son, or in a grocery store with my son. And I know what it's like to watch a parent be arrested. I've seen my mother do it. How do I say this without
uncovering somebody?
No, not even uncovering somebody, just dealing with my own trauma. So to watch my mother be arrested and me and my brother be taken away from her, and then having to wait in the foster system for somebody to come and get us.
You was in a foster care? You grew up in foster care?
I was in foster care, yeah.
For how long?
It's a blur for me, but I don't think it was probably a year. Yeah, me and my brother were in a group home first, and then we ended up being separated and going to actual individual homes. And then our grandparents my mother's mother got my brother, and my dad's mother got me, while my dad was fighting for custody of me. And the thing that I didn't want, I'm happy and grateful for, is that it didn't, I guess you would say the generational curse didn't happen to my son, because I could have been arrested and he could have been taken from me in that moment. And that probably would have broke me. Now, you didn't see me looking like I was embarrassed, but if that would have happened. So
how old were you when your mom got arrested or whatnot? You got placed in foster care? I
was 4. 4 or 5. Yeah, I was 4. 4.5.
And so eventually your mom, did she end up getting custody of you again?
Nope. My dad ended up getting custody of me.
Really? So your dad, you were raised with your dad?
I am a daddy's girl all day. That's why you saw him right there. And people are like, why are you taking your dad through that? Like, he's like, I'm coming. I'm coming. Because he said he looked at it on his phone. It popped up on his phone. And it
came up as a notification?
Yeah.
As a father, if I... Oh, Lord, as a father... I don't want to tell
the story that he told me that the things that he did after he saw it. As a 72-year-old man that's battling cancer. And to have his only child going through that.
So he saw that pop up. You've experienced that. How did you, so when Martell called you and told you that, then what, how long before you decide to turn yourself in?
The next day.
The next day. What was that decision like?
It was hard. It was a hard decision, but it was like, what's the process? What do I need to do? And how quickly can I go through it to get back out?
Did you have an attorney working with you on that?
I did.
And they told you just go ahead and just turn yourself in, you get back out?
Funny thing is, I actually had a meeting with my divorce attorney the next day. And so I'm in her office to talk about responding to him reopening the divorce case. And I had to tell her, hey, I was on Crime Stoppers. Like, what do I do? And then she had to refer me to a criminal attorney that I now have to pay to go and get the advice that I need to turn myself in and then make an appointment to go down and prepare for this charge that I have to fight.
And what was the charge for?
Forgery in the third. And then, Crime Stoppers said blatantly, Destiny Payton Williams forged her ex-husband's name on a utility contract.
A utility contract?
Mm-hmm.
So was this something that y'all had? Like, help me understand this, because this sounds real petty to me that became a legal issue. Explain what that means.
I'm sitting in jail asking, what am I here for? Because I didn't know what it meant either. I don't have any utility contracts with his name on it. Never have.
Lies.
So it's like saying basically that you went and got the electricity in his name. Is that what they're trying to say? Or you got like a water bill in his name?
I think so. That I forged his name on it when I don't have. I mean, it's only so much I can say because we're still legally in the fight, and I want my attorney to be trying to box me when I get home. But
like, did you even bring that?
But I can say this for sure: I do not have and never have had any utility bills in his name. It's only been in my name.
My question has always been like, and this is the part that grieves my heart, is that you can marry someone, be in love, not in love, whatever, but one can make a decision to marry somebody, and the marriage don't work out. File for divorce, have kids, not have kids. Different people have different scenarios in the situation. But how does it get to the point to where one would put their ex in jail over something as petty as that? Like, I try to wonder that, because like even my ex-wife and I talk about this in the past. I've cheated on her in our past marriage. She don't hate me like that. Like, it's not where she will do anything to harm me at all. You know what I'm saying? Even when it came time for me to get the new home that I purchased a couple of months ago, I called up. We don't talk all the time, but I was like, hey, you want to get this money? You know what I'm saying? It's a nice little commission. You want to come get this check? She said, heck yeah. So she came, just wrote her name on because it was a new bill. All she had to do was write her name on it, made her $25,000 just like that. Go make your money, go live. I don't understand how in the world do people get married and they hate, because that's what has to come, hate somebody to the point that they will get their own son's mother locked up over something like that. Like, couldn't that have been handled in a conversation? I don't know what y'all's communication is like or whatever, but could that have been whatever it was that happened? And I know you can't say too much about it, but could that have been handled in the conversation? To say, hey, guess what? I've noticed this right here happened. Hey, can you make sure that you take my name off of this or whatever? And it just be handled in that. Did y'all have a level of communication where that could have been done, whatever, if that was the case, allegedly, could that have been handled in a conversation?
Very much so. Very much so.
Do y'all have any type of communication with each other?
We do.
Is it cordial? You have to talk through a third party all the time?
It's text.
But verbally,
text.
y'all can't have a conversation without.
I've tried.
So it's just a lot of anger between whatever it is.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. What I will say is, in my experience with, turning myself in, I'm sitting there just like,
how did we get here?
I'm really in a real jail for something that ain't real. And all the flashbacks to the times that I picked up the phone and called the police about domestic situations and couldn't pull the trigger.
Yep.
Couldn't give a name, couldn't say his name. Literally, like, go through the process multiple times. The detectives calling me, press charge, and I just couldn't do it. And I'm sitting here in real jail for something like this.
Detectives don't call you, you call them. Liar.
It was really a slap in the face, for me. Like, you protected this person for so long. You hadn't even spoke out about your abuse. You haven't even, talked about the real trauma that you got from that marriage and the lack of protection that you experienced throughout the whole ordeal. And yeah, it was a lot of aha moments that I needed just for myself and my growth and accepting things and coming to the realization of where I was and actually being married to someone that now seeks pleasure in your pain. Yeah.
How does that feel to reconcile your relationship with your ex-husband to that feeling? Because you still got to do life with this gentleman. Mm-hmm. You have a son. You still have to do life. Your son is how old?
He's 3.
3. At minimum of 15 more years. How do you reconcile that? And how do you navigate this space? You might not even have the answer for it, but what is your forethought in, all right, this is the reality. This is where we are. This is the father of my son. How do we progress from this moment?
I don't have the words. I always say, but God, because prayer has gotten me to this point, and a lot of therapy, a lot of life coaching. Specific therapy now is trauma-based, EMDR therapy to deal with the trauma. And because I had to go next level, regular therapy was good, but we need to go deeper. Because that relationship started to bring up old triggers and traumas from my childhood. Things that, I wanted as a kid and didn't get, which was protection. I keep going back to that because I just, in some of the most vulnerable states of my life, being pregnant after 5 miscarriages and having this miracle baby, and then walking out of the hospital with a $20,000 bill because my husband at the time refused to acknowledge me on his insurance. So those were, just the consistent.
You said refuse to acknowledge you on the insurance. Explain that to me. What are we talking about?
So for punishment of not naming his son a junior, he refused to confirm me during discharge as his wife on his insurance.
So you were stuck with a $20,000 bill.
Mm-hmm. While I was married.
Okay. All right. Explain to people what that level of therapy was. Is EMDR? What's it called?
EMDR.
It stands for, I forgot the acronym.
Don't ask me.
Reticular. It's something, but they'll do. Explain what happens. You can do light therapy in your eyes and explain.
It's various things. I haven't really gotten deep into the physical aspect because my initial therapist was remote, and she had an incident where while she was doing light therapy, her internet went out, and it was traumatizing to her because you're opening up.
Yeah, you're just stuck over here.
Yeah, you open up some things for a person and you can't
get them back.
Mm-hmm. So I now have one in person. So I get to the next level of the more physical work. Because, initially they have you go through, Start with your earliest memory, and then keep going. By the time I got to, I want to say 7 or 8, I couldn't go anymore. Like I just couldn't take. I was like, oh.
What was it doing to your body?
It was just. I mean, talking about it now is bringing up stuff. Like I'm a little uneasy, but it just started to. I mean, I started to remember things that I completely had forgot. I remember toys that my aunt got me when I was 6 and a nightgown. Like things started to really come out, and I was just like, whoa. It was just a lot of trauma. I had a lot of early trauma that I remembered vividly.
Are you open enough to share some of those without sending you into a spiral? Yeah, I'm open enough. Dealing with my mom, her drug addiction. I didn't know what that was at the time, of course, but seeing her being, jumped on by drug dealers looking for their money, walking in and the smell of it, those things I remember. And, being touched as a little girl and just things that just constantly happen. And I remember us, like one of my earliest memories it's just kind of like, I don't know, you just kind of snap and you remember when you were a little kid pulling up to our apartment and the kids jumping on the mattress next door to the apartment. And I was like so excited, like, oh, that's a memory. But then when we get inside, we didn't have windows in our bedroom. And then I just remember living in a garage. I didn't know it was a garage. My aunt told me she used to hate picking me up from there because I would be covered in oil. So my mom's, I guess, ex-boy or boyfriend at the time, he owned a car garage and fixed cars and stuff. And so there was a room in the garage that we lived in. That was another memory that I had. And it's just, those things started to come up. And I was just like, oh, wow, I forgot all about all this stuff. How did you process that to think about those things, especially the SA situation? How are you dealing with that?
It's interesting because I remember as an adult telling one of my aunts, and she was like, yeah, you told us when you were a kid. I'm like, I did? And she's like, yeah, you told us. Because I've always been a very, vocal
person.
Yeah, vocal kid, speak my mind. You ain't going to tell me nothing, and I'm going to tell you. But I was like, well, y'all didn't do anything. Like, the only reason why me and my brother got taken away from my mother the night that it happened was because I refused to go to their house. And I looked at my brother and I said, we were at a friend's house playing, and one of the boys was over there. And he's like, they can come to our house. And because my mom was late picking us up. And I was like, no, my mom said we can't come over your house anymore. And it was not the truth, but
you said stuff happens over there.
Yeah, and I had already told my brother. And I remember the night that we went to spend the night before the incident happened, before we got taken away. And I remember one of them trying to wake me up, and my brother saying, no, she's asleep. And I literally was faking because he knew it was going to happen to me. And
was it an older boy or what?
Yeah, he was a teenager. And 2 brothers, actually. And my brother, that night that we ended up getting taken away, he stood up and said, yeah, my mama said we can't come to your house. And so I guess the lady waited, and she ended up calling the police to try to ride around the neighborhood and find her mom. And that was the night that we got drove to foster care.
How did you feel? Do you remember that moment, 4 years old, like you're in this strange place, they done told you can't go back with your mom? That's very near and dear to me as a licensed foster parent. How did you feel in that moment?
Well, the interesting part is after riding around the neighborhood, going back to our house and trying to find my mom, we saw her coming out of this building as we were leaving the neighborhood. And I'm yelling like, there's our mama, there's our mama. And the police just kept going. And in that moment, I knew like, they're not going to take us home. And I just remember crying. And I remember me and my brother sitting next to each other just crying and them giving us candy. I remember that. And then the group home that we ended up going to was literally across the street from the office. And we walked over there and we watched TV with this older couple, and the social worker was there with us. And I guess they got us comfortable enough to leave. And there were 2 other girls there. And I just remember going upstairs, and there were bunk beds, and that was the beginning of like the beginning of my new life.
And so being in this abusive marriage, as you refer to it as, it brought up all that. It brought up all that past trauma.
For a long time, I didn't even recognize it as abuse. So when it first started, it was like, okay, I fought back. And so it took me a long time. My actual lawyer had to say to me, just because you fought back did not make it not be abuse. And I didn't get that.
Because you're from Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been fighting all my life.
Yeah.
So, and not that that's a good thing, but so it got to a point where I was just trying to fix it. I wanted, going to therapy and just, I was so focused on the end goal that I didn't acknowledge the fact that I was in a situation that may never change. And this is where I tell people and women that I talk to all the time, do not stay in a relationship for potential.
Yeah.
And you cannot love an abuser through it. And you just can't. And once they disrespect you on a level of putting their hands on you, there's no turning back. And I didn't understand that in the moment. I really didn't. We're going to go to therapy. We're going to fix this. We're going to go to therapy. Or we're going to talk to this other person. Every time we got to the point where it was real work, flight. And then I'm still sitting there by myself like, well, maybe this is not the right therapist. And I go to another therapist, same situation. To the point where I had a therapist say to me that if you don't leave, he will kill you.
Let's reverse. You met your ex-husband how old were you when you met him? And how long did y'all date before y'all got married?
We dated for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. We were together a total of 7 years. We dated for 5 years. We were engaged for almost 2.5 years. And yeah, it was all long distance.
Oh, yeah, it was long distance. So you were in your early 30s or 30s. You met him. He lived where and you lived where?
I had just moved back from LA to Atlanta and he lived in Huntsville.
All right, so he lived in Huntsville. You lived in Atlanta. And then how did y'all meet?
We met at a Christmas party.
Why you laughing at that?
Because it was interesting. It was interesting how we met. Some mutual friends from high school. One of my friends was like, hey, this guy has a crush on you. You need to go talk to him. Now, mind you, it was Christmas, so I had a couple drinks. And,
eggnog was knocking.
And so I was like, okay, girl, and then I just kept, mingling and mixing with people at the party. And then finally, when she came back, she's like, no, you need to go talk to him. He's shy. And so I went and sat on the lap. And
sit on his lap?
I did. Hey, I heard you want to meet me.
Hey, Santa. I'm your gift. What you talking about?
And he turned completely red, completely red. And in that moment, I just think about the innocence of all of that.
Yeah.
And it was, it was really good in the beginning.
Pregnant pause moments. So you said that you sat in his lap. From that moment, you said he was more shy. And then y'all were long distance. What was the courtship like? The dating? Because you said y'all dated for 5 years. So what was the intentionality back then? Were y'all just getting to know each other? Y'all just dating each other? No potential of marriage? Was it a 5-year situationship, or was y'all committed in a relationship and this is my boo, we rocking together? What was that? Because it was long distance. It had to stop at some point.
It was long distance, but we were on and we broke up and got back together a lot. But the initial, I guess, the foundation of our relationship, I stayed in Huntsville for about 6 months before I moved to Nashville. And so we were together a lot. And I watched him be a caretaker to his grandparents, and that just made my heart like, oh my God, he's such a good family person. And, even the family dynamics, beautiful family. And I think I was so caught up in that. And, always my family is everywhere. My family's Detroit, Atlanta. So I was the only grandchild out of 29 of us that moved away from Detroit. And here I am in Huntsville. It's me and my dad, and then my God family, who's a huge. They're my family. Other than that, it's like I've always been solo. I always just moved really by myself, and so to be around that family dynamic just felt good. And then to watch being a caretaker of his grandparents and how big his heart was in the moment, but what I realized, it was kind of like forced on him. And it was like when we became a family, I was like, oh, I know he's going to be great to us because he's so good. But it was like, I don't know if he just got to a point where he was tired or it was just like, I've done all this work. Now you do the work.
Why you feel like it was forced on him at that stage?
You know, you could be raised to be the golden child. And you know, like I've heard even him say, you know, everybody wants to make their mother happy. And I get that. You want to make your parents happy. And I get that, but to the own detriment of your own happiness, at a certain point, I just feel like I got a lot of the backlash from the things that may have just been placed on him too heavily. One of the things that even happened in therapy was the last therapist that we had said, you know, the thing that you want the most is protection, and he can never give it to you because he's been raised to give it to someone, unfairly raised to give it to someone else.
Has he ever been told that? Has
the
he
therapist said that to his face.
Oh, he was there with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say? Did he agree with that? Because that's a great concept. That's a great awareness moment to say, wow, I never thought about that. If I was groomed at a young age to go be this caretaker for whoever it is, mom, grandma, whatever, then, which is a great characteristic when you look at it and be like, wow, that'd be great. He could give me that same level of care. But if it's not managed properly, no, I can only do this and I exhaust this. It's like when you have young boys become the man of the house too early, and you think that you get married to him, he's like, no, I want to get my childhood back.
Yes.
So he was a man from the man of the house from 12 to 17. Now you dealing with this 40-year-old man that says, I want to live my life. I want to be a
17.
child. Yes. And he want to go be a child again. You know, he wants to go get those childhood days back. So when that was brought to his attention, do you remember how he responded?
We didn't. I don't remember going back after that.
So that major moment happened, and y'all didn't unpack that. It was like, hey,
it was like stamped. Like he literally said he can't give it to you. He can't. He doesn't know how.
And he didn't try to disagree and say, yeah, I can't. I didn't realize that. He just let that be what it is.
Yes.
How did you take that as a lesson? Or did you say, well, maybe I can love him and he's going to see, and I know it's in him, and so I'm going to get it out of him. I'm going to extract it out of him for our family.
No, I was good and pregnant, and all I could think about was getting this baby here. And I really went into myself and just tried to like block out everything that was going on around me. And I thought I was doing a good job until I ended up having extremely high blood pressure because my body was reacting.
Yes.
And so while I'm not reacting to things or giving energy, it's, you know, you still feel it.
And that's one of the things that I'm glad you brought up, because that's the reason why I say stuff has to be talked about. Stuff has to be dealt with. We sweep so much under the rug and feel like it's going to, I don't even know if we even think it's going to fix itself out. We just don't address it. And unaddressed trauma messes up your nervous system. Like your body's going to respond to it. And you know, we hear the saying, God can't heal what we won't reveal. But the reality of that also is that when that trauma is trapped inside of our nervous system, it's going to respond. If you're going to get high blood pressure, stress, you're going to deal. That's why a lot of men have heart attacks earlier than women, because they dealing with all this trauma for years.
Women are having them more now. African-American women, actually.
Why?
Because not only are we the mothers and the caretakers and caregivers, we're working. And back in the day, our job pretty much was take care of home, kids, and the husband. Now we do all of that and work. And just the life stressors, too, that are different. What we have to carry. And so a lot of times people are like, especially Black women, they're so strong and masculine. We haven't been able to really sit in our femininity and thrive, because I've been called a man in every relationship I've been in.
Oh, really?
Pretty much.
So why? What were they seeing and identifying where they called you a man? And you're talking about back in, not in high school, they noticed those terms back then, did they? Or they say you hard. That's what you say back then. Well,
no, even one of my castmates said, you know, you got the, you kind of act like a little, you're a beta male. I was like, no, I'm alpha. Get it right now, big D energy. But
so you said you're an alpha man, not an alpha woman.
Yes. And so I don't think it was more so what they were seeing. I think what they probably, and what I now understand, is the environment that they were creating for me to be in. So if I'm not in an environment where I feel like, oh, this person has me, you know, I haven't had that experience where I feel like wholeheartedly this person has my back.
Why don't you respond like that to me? I never saw this alpha woman. You don't act like that around me.
Really?
No, I've never seen you.
Well, I'll say this. One thing, even with this production situation, it's a big deal. Like, you walk in and it's a whole production studio. You made sure that I was taken care of. So I felt comfortable.
But even beyond this moment, like even when you came out to the Stellar Wars, or just anytime I've talked to you, you don't come off like that. Is that something you've been aware of that you've been trying to change over the last year? Or I don't know you well enough for you to show that side?
No, I would say I definitely have been doing a lot of work. And you also, I don't feel like, you know, the times that we've encountered that you just kind of had me straggling out there. Like, I don't feel like that. Yeah, no.
But you said you've been like that, which makes sense, because if you had to go into this self-preservation mode as a young child from 4 years old, you didn't have that covering and that nurturing of your mother until whatever that moment happened, whether she re-entered your life. When did she re-enter your life? Okay, that never happened. So
she's around. And when I tell you, I know where I get my strength from. I didn't understand it before. And in therapy, I said to my therapist, I was like, you know, I got to a point where I had to put myself in her shoes and look at life through her lens. Yeah. And that's what helped me heal. And then I had another epiphany. I was talking to my life coach and I said, you know, my mother is from Detroit. She survived the epidemic of crack cocaine. And she's still here. She's still in the streets. She's still, you know, day-to-day fighting. And that's a different level of strength. Also, the pain. Because I have 7 siblings.
Right.
It is 8 of us total.
By your mom?
By my mom. One that was murdered, my oldest brother. The only sibling I ever lived with and had a relationship with. Because my other siblings have been put into the system. It's 3 of them I've never met. And we literally can be in a room together that I probably wouldn't.
So you're talking about the one that you were raised with, that you went in foster care together. He's
my protector.
He's no longer here. It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Don't do it.
I'm not. It makes sense. I'm sorry. And that's what happens. It's like, it just all makes sense. It's like here, even when you talk about as kids, where he was like, my mama said, he listened to what you said. He took note of those emotional cues that you had and said, mama said, we can't go over there, because you found a safe space with him to share what had been happening to you. And he stepped up and said, no, we ain't going there.
Yeah.
And then,
I knew he was gonna do it.
Well, I wasn't. You did this to me. I know what we're gonna talk about. I know nothing. I said before we start recording, I said I know what we're gonna talk about. But it's making sense to me now. Is that then you're raised with your father. Most men ain't gonna give you no feminine energy. He gonna give you straight masculinity. Hey, he gonna provide. He gonna do that stuff or whatever. But you know, was he the type that nurtured you and come here, baby, let me give you a kiss and hug on you?
He was.
So you got that balance, and then you get married, and you're looking for all of that to converge, which it should be. When you get married, Your husband's supposed to be the priest, the protector of your home, the person that says, I got you when nobody else does. And then you get into this relationship and the foundation is shaky from the very beginning. Start off really great. Oh, this kind of cute, whatever. But then here y'all are living in two different states. Y'all trying to make it work through all of that. Y'all deal with what relationships deal with. And then you have physical abuse that becomes a part of it, emotional abuse, all this other little stuff. And it's like, here we go. This is what I've been through in my childhood. At what age was your brother's life taken? How old was he?
He was 28, 29.
Was that your older brother?
It was.
Yep.
My big brother.
Yep.
The one that when I would go home to Detroit, like the neighborhood boys wouldn't talk to me because they didn't play.
Want that smoke. They'd be like, you.
No.
That's so-and-so sister, man.
Yeah. What they used to say when I come home for the summer? Oh, that Alabama. Oh, don't talk. That's Rell sister. That's Rell sister. Don't.
There's going to be problems.
Oh, yeah.
So you say he was murdered?
Brutally.
In Detroit? Was it some foul play? Was he involved in some stuff illegal, or what was that whole situation?
He was in a car club or something like that, and some other stuff. It's so many holes in that story, but ultimately he was shot by somebody that was supposed to be a part of his crew, friend, and then they burned his body up in the house.
Destiny? Yeah.
2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate from college. So I was a complete zombie walking around LA campus. But I walked.
And graduated.
I did.
And yeah, as you've been going through healing for this and going through therapy or whatever, how's that process been going? Are you feel like you're on the other side of the hump?
It's dealing with everything that's going on in life. Like, it's just, like I said, 2023 was but did you die?
Yeah.
Every time I feel like I get to a good space, like I pray to God, like, please just stop. Like, make the storm stop. Like, I just want it to stop.
Girl,
I don't know how much more I can take. And then something else happened. And then the arrest happened. And then the divorce reopened. All those things that are going on, and people see me and they think, or, even watching the last season of the show, watching myself, I didn't even recognize myself.
Why you say that?
I was being triggered and I didn't understand what it was.
We didn't either.
I would go into myself. I would have moments where I would be aggressive, which is a part of my personality. It just is. And, but it was being triggered. It's things that I don't normally, I wouldn't normally do after what I perceive to be healing. But in my prayers of asking for the storms to stop, they didn't stop. But as you said, I didn't look like I was embarrassed in that video when I turned myself in. God didn't take the storms away, but he gave me peace. And I just didn't understand. It was like, what's the, the scripture? Peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
And even though the life keep on lifing, I'm in a more peaceful space. But it still work. Still work, a lot of work to be done.
So you look back at that show, you said you can see the triggers now? You're able to look and be like...
Yeah, like for me to have a conversation off camera with someone that I deemed a friend and then come into a scene and like, wait a minute, I thought we fixed that. We beefing? Like, why did I know we were beefing? The camera start rolling and now we got to beef again. And so, being on reality TV is kind of like you never know what your reality is. Even with dating, it's like, what are you here for? What you want? And
people don't know that. People don't know it. Every friend that I have that have been on a reality show, whether it's dating, whether it's Housewives of Atlanta, all them type of shows, they all be like, y'all don't understand. Like,
It's a different world.
That's why y'all can't get me on that. Y'all gonna see a different side of me. Because what happens?
That's what I'm saying. You get in a pressure cooker. People are like, well, how does she have an attitude about that? And why does she respond?
Because they're good at creating scenarios to trigger you. They need good TV. That's the reason why I can't do it. That's why people are like, hey, y'all do. I said, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Because you're gonna push me a certain way and I'm gonna snap. You're gonna be like,
who is that?
I don't even curse, but you're gonna hear me curse. I don't even curse as a person, but you put me in that right situation, I'm gonna cuss somebody out, I'm gonna body slam somebody, you'll be like, what is wrong with him? I thought he was saved. I'm saved and he just got whooped that quick. Amen. And we're gonna see you at church on Sunday.
Well, it's funny because I said that in one of my green screens and they were asking me, like, I was triggered in a situation where this Valentine's Day, you talking about that. You was like, wait a minute, what? You did what? And I was like, I was sitting there in my green screen, and as I was processing, I was like, I haven't been put in situations like this since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, who you talking? What? So,
I said, Destiny, you gonna fight somebody? He's like, I will. I said, just can't be fighting nobody as grown as we are.
I said, my big grown age, I shouldn't have to, but I ain't no punk.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like stuff that you ain't never even thought about doing as old as we are, trying to fight somebody.
No,
like,
you're not.
And then you done got on the TV show and you've been fighting in front of the world.
Trigger. But you know what? I'm happy that I got a chance to see it because it allowed me to know, hey, you still got some work to do.
Yeah.
You got to dig a little bit deeper. And I'm grateful for it all, as crazy as it was. But I enjoyed the process of being on reality TV. It was a lot of fun moments, and I think just because I was dealing with so much, going through my divorce, and then my dad getting cancer, and it was just a lot. And a lot of times people don't see that.
No.
They just see, oh, okay, here's this scene, and they look cute, and they're at the store, and wait a minute, why does she have attitude? And what's she mad at her for? She shouldn't be mad at her. I'm like, but y'all don't know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And then we got life on top of that, the real life outside of your reality TV
exactly.
life. And it's been interesting to watch. And I would have never saw myself in that light if I wasn't on TV. So
would you do it again?
I would.
If Dad should come on that show, would you come back? Her face changed.
I would because I feel like my story is unfinished. The only way that I would is if they told my story the right way. And and I would.
Are you healed enough to go in there and not act a complete fool? A complete fool.
Well, I've never acted a complete fool.
If they know, see, this is the thing about it. When it ain't calling them the devil or nothing, but I'm saying when the devil knows your trigger points, they'll cook the perfect scenario up for you and be like, oh, I know, I've heard, I see what happens. And they, I ain't gonna name the show, but it's this particular show, is a reality show that they have the people talk to a therapist, a freaking psychologist actually, and they sit down and talk to you to vet you or whatever. It's a dating show. And you thinking you're talking about like, okay, well, I guess they're trying to find out if I'm, make a great partner or whatever.
Info.
They collecting data.
They trying to see how your mind works.
So that they know, they said that their greatest fear is this, or they hate people like this, or this makes them, they're like, well, what would make you snap on somebody? If somebody came and they disrespect me and said something about my kids, then they'll put somebody up there and they'll say something. They be like, well, I don't date no one with kids. Hold on, what y'all say about my kids? And then now you have this crazy situation that happens where you're triggered in the worst way, and we're watching as viewers saying, gosh, she so overreacted on that. It's like, why she act like, why would she care what this person thinks? But then put the perfect scenario where you like, why in the world did you respond like that? Because granted, as self-aware as I am, you put me in the wrong situation or right by a producer standpoint, you're going to get the reaction that you want. I want to get to the point to where I'm like, Jesus, well, heck, even Jesus went and tore up the temple. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he was like, that was a scenario for Jesus. If he was on a reality show, you'd have saw Jesus go tear up the temple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here's the reality show. Jesus done walked up in the church and started throwing tables over. You know what I'm saying? What kind of PR does that look like for Jesus?
Hey, we're going to have to work on that, Jesus. Hold on.
You got to work on that. You got to tip it now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happens in the right situation. We're going to respond in ways that may be unbecoming. And so my thing is, when I ask you, would you go back on there? Do you think that you're in a place to where no one could push those triggers?
I think I'm in a great place. Yeah, I think that savage mode. I think I'm in a great place. The funny thing, you talk about producer, you said that people with this show was a therapist.
Yeah.
So it was a recent situation. I bring it up because it's very, very recent. Is imagine confiding in the person that they have assigned to be your producer, and then you find out that producer married your ex.
Oh yeah, that's it's not that's not imaginary. That's actually what happened to you, Destiny. Yeah. that's actually what happened to you, Destiny.
So what is it? Is it really? Did that really happen?
Yeah, that happened, Destiny. Last month, I believe. Last month, this guy that you was dating is now married. Are they engaged? They just engaged, right? But if they get married,
I think they might be married.
Okay, might be married.
You know they
married. The producer, one of the producers of the show, was assigned to you. How you feel about that?
Well, being that she told me that was her cousin, it was really interesting to know that Cousins was married. And I know we filmed in Alabama, but
she didn't say that the dude was her cousin. She said that to you.
So the thing that's crazy is that, the job of a producer that's assigned to you, a field producer, is for them to, you give them, you confide in them.
Yeah.
And not only was she my producer, we actually became friends after she left the show. And she would say things to me like when I would have those moments like, this is crazy, I'm sick of this. And she would say things like, you know how many girls would love to be in your position, and you know how many girls would love to be on television. And I didn't think she was talking about herself. The whole time I'm like, and so then when I found out the cousins got married,
she did not say that was her cousin. She done told you. So did he say that was her cousin too?
The word was we people. Like they,
I know, that's my people.
Yeah, like we got cousins, and so I'm thinking real for real, like real talk. Like in a million years, like I didn't know. And then I get a text message where it's like, hey, out of respect for you and our friendship, and as a woman, I want to tell you that we getting serious. I'm like, when did you and your cousin? When did y'all even start dating? What are you talking about? Because real talk, like I knew that the man wasn't my husband. We had already broken up. Let's say that I had already ended the relationship, and it was just a lot of things that were red flags, and I wasn't going back down that road again. And then a long distance on top of that. So, but
you like the long distance relationships, huh? I
actually did, because I like to be. I'm an only child. My dad's only child, and so I'm used to, after my dad got custody of me, I'm used to being. But that's another story. And so the thing that about the whole situation, I've known that man for over 15 years.
Y'all go way back.
Way back. And then I had to look at that relationship like, now these people are creating a storyline around me. This is my real life. Like, they're trying to pitch a show, I think, or something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And then I go back to 15 plus years ago when I was dating someone that was actually a celebrity, a rapper, and off and on. And then that's when he first heavily pursued me.
Oh, the guy that you started dating.
Yeah. And then now here we are, fast forward, I'm on television and he's heavily pursuing me again. So then I had to think about what was the real intention. Like, were you ever who I thought you were? And what I can say about the situation is, it is what it is. People find themselves in situations, and they ain't got nothing. It do got a lot to do with me because it's a whole storyline. But people will create storylines around your reality and use it for gain, clout, attention.
How long y'all broken up at that point?
Probably about 5 months, maybe. And
do you feel like it's betrayal on who part? His part or her part? Or both? Wow.
Because we got to, when I said we continue the relationship, I got messages on my phone, I love you, sis, miss you, sis, surprise birthday parties I was invited to by her sister, like things like that. So it was a developing relationship, and I confided in her about my relationship, not only as my producer, but as my friend. And but the biggest betrayal is him, because I knew, like I said, I knew the relationship wasn't going where it needed to go as far as marriage or anything like that, but that was still my friend.
So answer this. How would you have responded if she came to you, or both of them came to you and said, hey, listen, we are interested in each other. We're at the interest stage. We haven't even been on a date with each other, but I'm interested in her. She's interested in me. Do you mind if we pursue this? What would you say?
Who, Jesus? I can tell you what I said on the day that I found out, but
that's hindsight. You got to go by at the beginning. If they did this right,
listen.
Would you say, we done this 5 months ago?
I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say that now, but I probably eventually would have got to a point where I respected it, you know.
But at that moment, would you say no?
I can't tell you because I am not in that moment. Well, and I can't tell two grown people no. But at the end of the day, I respect honesty versus betrayal and sneaking.
Right.
And so for me, it's like the worst part about the situation is that I know that friendship the door is closed. Like him and I can never be friends again because of betrayal. And that's the part that stung the most.
That you felt betrayed.
Yeah.
But had they asked you at the beginning, you don't know what you would have said. And because my thing is, I wonder, like,
the Detroit hat came out of, but no, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
She's so
we gotta get you delivered from Detroit. We gotta get you delivered from there.
They can't take the girl out of Detroit, but can't take Detroit out of the girl.
At Motor City. So what happens is this. So my thing is, I always say people find love however they find love. And then you said it key, you said, we realized we weren't each other's person, basically. Mm-hmm. That's not my husband. And so my thing is, once that is understood, is it okay for that person to be released to date whoever they date, be with whoever they be with, and it not be a betrayal? Like, it's different in this situation.
You can't use that situation.
Well, I can't use that because it was a whole show. She's your confidence, producers,
and then
all
it became that. Why is it public? Why is it on the internet? You know, that type of thing. Why is it a story? Because if I fell in love with someone that I pray to God, don't put myself in a situation like that. But somebody that I considered a friend, their ex or whatever the case may be, you would kind of want to maybe protect that and be silent and like really build it up and like really make it a thing. But it's like more of an attention-seeking situation.
Well, if you said they try to make a storyline of a show, if it's something,
I don't know what it is, okay. But it just became like, you know, hey, we see her the next day, they in the kitchen getting married, and I'm like, what is going on? What?
Would it be worse if you didn't know and you just found out that it's kind of hidden 2 years later? You found out they've been married for 2 years?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like,
I'm just saying you can't. It's such a situation where you just really
there's no right or wrong.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong. It ain't no right. It's just wrong.
That's why I said the only thing that could have been better handled is if they would have had a conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
And how you dealt with that is up to you. But then they like, listen.
You saying you getting serious and then 2 days later you get married and it's all over the internet. Like, how is that?
Because you're saying basically it must have started before that moment. You know, everything starts before the moment that you see it. And so whatever happened, wherever the courtship started, it started way in advance, and then you see the fruit of it later. Because it ain't like that happened in 30 days.
You never know. We in a whole nother world these days.
That man did not just see that girl and get married to a 5
Well, they met at my birthday dinner, so they definitely didn't just see each other.
They met at your birthday dinner when, Destiny?
Last year.
You talking about 2023?
Was that 2023? What year is this? Yeah. No. The year before that.
2022.
I think so.
They met at your birthday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Did they exchange numbers then? Where it was like...
No, I thought she was dating his cousin. Let me just be quiet. So everybody was there kind of coupled up. So I don't know.
Okay, we don't know. So what happened is she was dating somebody at the time.
She was my producer. She showed up as my producer. She knew somebody that was there that they dated, I guess. And so and then to find out, it's just a lot of stuff that just don't make sense. But it ain't none of my business now.
Do you forgive them?
God bless him on there.
Do you forgive him?
Yes.
But just say, I was skeptical. We used to do this game in acting. We called skeptical, and I like that. Rihanna wasn't that kind of skeptical.
Rihanna.
She talking about, yeah, I do. I was skeptical. Well, we're going to get to that stage. We're going to get to that stage. At the end of the day, you know, it's 2024. You got
no, seriously. I mean, it's their life is no longer a part of mine. So I wish them well.
And you were still going on that show knowing that you'll be in that.
I don't know about welcome to my world. You got to confide in producers and not trust them. It's a lot.
And then you'll go back on that same show and then watch them now married, and this is a guy that you dated. That'll be.
They not on the show? What are you talking about?
No, they ain't on the show. You said she's a producer for the same show, ain't she?
No, not anymore.
Okay, she ain't produced on the show no more. Okay. Well, that makes it a whole lot easier then. Why you look like that?
You think?
Why you look sweet?
I just things flash through my head, you know. Things I'm thinking about. It's okay.
Destiny, do you desire to get married again?
I would love to know what marriage is like. Why are you laughing?
Because you've been married before.
I've been married, but I've never been in a marriage.
Woo! Unpack that, Destiny.
I just said one. I mean, do I got to unpack it? All the stuff I've been through, I done told you some key things that made it not a marriage.
What do you believe that the right marriage will afford you that this past marriage didn't?
That I won't have to be a thug in my marriage. No, just kidding. But for real.
That's true. That's for real. That's for real. You want to rest in your femininity?
That part.
Yeah.
I would say protection, provision, being provided a space to just feel safe.
Do you feel like you're able to be that? Are you able to wait and to exhale? Are you willing to lay down your sword and be like, or is that going to be a struggle?
You're going to have to be I can't say the word.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be a heck of a man.
Don't say it.
A heck of a man. Or a man, like a real one. Not a sassy one either.
to get you to rest.
Mm-hmm. Now I've been dating, and it's an interesting world. You know, girl got options, got choices, and they're, you know, I don't feel like they mimic any other situation. Thank God. That I've been in previously. No love bombing. No, you know, some secure men. So, you know, I do have to learn how to kind of lay down the sword, because I'll be moving the couch and they're like, "What you doing? What? Why are you moving that?" I'm like, "What?" I'm trying to move it to the other side of the room. Let me help you. Like,
good.
What is that?
Good.
What is that? You want to help me move my couch? Okay. All right. I like him.
Oh God, it's so hilarious. So marriage, you still desire it. You want
I desire a marriage, yes.
All right. So it ain't like you jaded.
I haven't given up on love.
You haven't given up on love. Are you extra protective now since you are dating with child versus before you got married?
Straight up, mama bear. Yeah.
At what stage do you feel like it's appropriate to introduce law to?
Listen, I am taking the training wheels off of this dating thing. I don't know. I'm real clumsy right now. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I don't know what stage it is, because it's like when I have my son, it's like dating. Hey, how you doing? Are you alive over there? Because I'm all mama. So I got to find a balance. Well,
I do want to. I just want to talk to your ex-husband, brother.
Jesus,
brother. Because I got to talk to him. You know, I got to keep my kings lifted up, because I am a huge advocate for a healthy family, healthy families, especially Black families. And I always say that our kids are witnessing how we are loving or not loving their mothers. And kids don't choose sides. I'm telling you, they don't. They love both parents equally until they start seeing, hey, you're treating my mom like this, or you're treating my dad like this. Why can't they, you know, the old Rodney King thing? Why can't we all just get along? That's what kids really want. And so the marriage didn't work. I understand that. but there still should be some type of healthiness in co-parenting. And so I just want to encourage you, brother, you know, I want to encourage you, brother, to as Destiny over here making all these noises. Why you making these noises, Destiny? You don't think this is this? You don't think this is you feel like this is just a waste of time?
Put your energy out there, sir. I'm not gonna interfere.
Destiny, I'm gonna need you not to be making those sound effects.
Well, I didn't know you could hear me. Oh, Lord Jesus, amen.
See, keep doing
I'm just praying because that's necessary in this moment.
Think about that. What happens if this moment changes the trajectory of y'all's co-parenting relationship?
You would literally be Jesus. You walk on water.
Well, I'm believing that I'm Christ-like as a Christian.
Good morning.
And I believe that as one brother to the next, I can encourage you, King, to just make it healthy. Whatever you've been through, whatever y'all's relationship has been through for the previous years, you know, and I'll say this, I'll be transparent. My daughter had a surgery last month. The mother of my child, that's not the woman I was married to, but a woman that I had my daughter with when I was in high school. Her mom, you know, we've had a tumultuous relationship going, you know, throughout the years. But my daughter called me yesterday. She said, my mom said that she enjoyed talking to you at the hospital. Y'all was just having so much fun and y'all was tripping out or whatever. I have been so intentional on making sure that no matter what, we had a healthy relationship. And it hasn't been healthy all the time. But I kept saying, my daughter one day told me, she said, how are you able to respond to my mom like this in times or whatever? I said, because I want to show you my love towards you by the way I handle your mom. So, brother, I encourage you to love your son by the way you love his mom. Love your son by the way that you love his mom. Doesn't mean you got to call all the time. Doesn't mean all that type of stuff, but just, Destiny.
I'm sorry.
Destiny, you see?
I'm sorry.
Those sound effects.
See, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect in none of this.
Please
still
don't.
working on me,
I'm
Lord.
talking to my brother right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So you don't have to call every day, but what you can do is when you do talk to her, when you do send her a text, you know, it can be healthy. Whatever y'all dealing with from a court situation, drop all that mess. End that stuff. Let's move in 2024 with a place of resolution and peace. And I guarantee you what you're going to deposit into her by just loving her with respect and honor, God is going to return that back to you. You're going to find yourself living a more peaceful life. Just check all that stuff. It don't even make sense. So I'm believing God for y'all's relationship to become healthy so that y'all can raise up this awesome son in a very productive home environment. Now, I don't believe that was wasted.
I pray.
Watch. How would you feel if you end up dropping this whole case?
Yes, Lord.
How would you feel? Would you still operate? Think about it, because if there's a miracle that takes place, if he just says, man, listen, I'm through with this, I ain't finna deal with this or whatever, he dropped everything, would that instill a little bit of hope on y'all having a healthier co-parenting relationship? Or would you be like, well, what you finna do next? I know you up to something. Would you operate in bitterness?
No, because I'm always surprised by the things that come out. Yeah, they come at me. I'm like, why am I still surprised by this stuff? Like,
but I'm talking from a healthy standpoint.
I don't operate in
we don't end it there.
By the negative, but what
because
about
Destiny's she's just gonna be negative, and we're right at the end anyway. We're not going to continue. I don't want to torture you guys anymore. I wanted you guys to hear. I'm sorry. I wanted you guys to be able to hear what Destiny had to say. I saw you saw where she was kind of using some of Mel's stuff, being sassy. Yeah, she wants to back on the show. Destiny's lying. If they show me the right way. She told Carlos King when she did her interview with Carlos that she wanted to be back on Love and Marriage Huntsville, or she wanted to be out on the Detroit show. So she is begging to be back on the show. So Destiny, you're not being transparent and or honest. You told Carlos you would want to be back on Love and Marriage Huntsville if he asked you. And hell, he couldn't even hardly get it out of his mouth. You were like, oh, yeah, I want to be back on. So she does, because she needs the money and she wants that clout and she wants all of that. But I don't feel like she was being 100% honest. I caught a few lies in there, too, as well. But we're going to go ahead and end the live. I'm glad that you guys were able to see the interview. I wanted to share it with you guys. I initially was going to share it for the pop-in, but I said we'll do it for Car Chronicles, okay? But thank y'all for being here. We're going into 2 hours, and I got to end it because I don't want YouTube tripping. Mods, thank y'all for an awesome job. Girlfriend Chronicles, thank you for being here. Any other content creators that join us this morning as well, okay? You guys enjoy your Tuesday. We will be back for our pop-in later on today, okay? Happy Tuesday and goodbye. Oh, please hit the like button, okay, guys? We got 654 watching and 569 likes. Thank you for that. Let's get up the likes, okay? Love you guys and goodbye.